Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance and for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today. Well, we're not shipping out today is Monday. The post office is closed, but I want to get ahead of the game. There's a lot of stuff from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and also part of Monday today. So I wanted to get this all packed up, and then tomorrow I'll go back to the storage unit, get the rest of the stuff, and then drop this all off on Tuesday. It's a bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to jump right into it. This helps us save time so tomorrow's not too stressful. All right, first up is going to be this right here. This is the Beast Within, a big box PC game. So it's just the box and just the game inside there. It's a really cool like mystery one. I haven't played this one, but I can tell by the cover. I'm surprised this one hasn't sold sooner. It sold to a repeat buyer for $28 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping, so I'll just save us a bunch of time right now. All right, moving along, we sold a lot of 4 fantasy novels. These weren't in any particular like lot. It's Dragon Rank Master, A Voice from Princess, The Dragon Waiting, and then the last one I can't even tell right there. They are kind of like beat up and stuff, but you can still like read them. You can still open the pages. The binding's still fine. This ended up selling for $14.99 plus shipping. Whoops, I forgot to say. I don't have to say that anymore. All right, moving along, we have 2 Rage starter decks. So Rage is just going to be White Wolf. Is it White Wolf Studios? Yeah, White Wolf, the older company that does like miniatures, RPG stuff. They also did these cards. This is a Tina deck right here. So this is a starter deck. These are really cool like cards. They feel different than like a Pokemon or Magic the Gathering card. Here's another starter deck. What's this character called? Philodox right there. So yeah, I've never played this particular game. We get a bunch of this dead card game stuff. This Rage stuff went for a lot more at auction. I ended up selling these 2 for $82. Sorry, I didn't auction them. Got these from an auction, but there was like a bigger lot that I didn't win because people were bidding up. I happened to find these Rage decks and loose cards at the bottom of a blind box I bought and auction for dead card game stuff. So $82 for those 2 is pretty good. Yeah, that one is like, now I know it's super popular and people like it. I would always pick up the dead card game stuff either way. All right, moving along, we have a repeat buyer for Fantassin. How do you say this? Fantassin miniatures right here. It's labeled NG7. This looks like a little artillery or cannon that gets carted around. Like I said, this went to a repeat buyer for $9. All right, next up is something pretty cool, but unfortunately I already have it packed up, so I can't show you. So this is going to be a playing card deck. What company is this? Red MailChimp poker size playing card deck. So yeah, it has like a really cool like shine to it. It looks like a purple and a red, and the cards were really nice. Like they felt nice and they had a cool like coloring to it, like a color palette. This ended up selling for $11.34. I like selling the playing card stuff. That one definitely looked like a more unique one. All right, next up is going to be some magazines. It's a lot of 6 of these Moves magazines. The Conflict Simulation Theory and Technique, some kind of like military particular thing. I think there's like board game stuff in here for the military war games, but these particular ones don't have the inserts. I think this type of magazine maybe sometimes has inserts. Ours do not. This is like the scraps from something that we got a long time ago. This ended up selling for $12.96. All right. Next up is going to be a Johnny Lightning. What is this one called? Forgotten War GMC little diecast like car. Yeah, this one looks pretty cool. Like people like these military cargo vehicles and stuff. This one doesn't have any like marks and wear. I kind of forget which person we got this from because we get like diecast cars from multiple people. This ended up selling for $9.60 for just a little car. It's a cool one. All right, moving along, we have a TSR map right here. This is going to be from some kind of Dungeons and Dragons. This one is 1988 Dreams of the Red Wizards map right here. I don't want to take it out because some of these are older and I don't want to start adding like a wear to the edges and stuff like that. This ended up selling for $14. We did a video where we got a bunch of these maps. That's the 4th thing that's sold, maybe 5th or 6th. I started losing track. I listed all of them, like went through that. I'm working on all of the miniatures for like the video that we posted yesterday. It's a lot, which has been a lot of fun. I've just been really just going through. I don't even count my listings. I just keep going until like my brain fries out or it hits like a certain time, like midnight or something like that. All right, next up, we have a lot of 3 Lionel 1997 train catalogs. We got a bunch of these from a estate sale a long time ago. This is actually still like another box I have to go through, but when I was originally listing these, none of them were selling. Any of the lots I made or any of the individual ones just weren't selling. This lot of 3 only sold for $9, but we got so many, like a couple hundred of those. Like I said, I listed most of them. I have a little bit more to work on. All right, moving along, we have this little police matchbox car right here. Is this one any special? I can't really tell. I mean, it looks like a generic police car. The colors are popping, the black and white right there. Yeah, what did I put? Ford Sierra R4. There you go. That's what that one is. I don't know anything about cars except for we sell a bunch of them. I say that a bunch, but yeah, that one sold for $5. Nothing too crazy. All right, next up is going to be the like a bunch of military, not military. Yeah, I guess so. Like, these are like metal miniature tanks. A lot of them are bits and pieces. A lot of them need some kind of slight repairs. There's like a cargo one. Yeah, a bunch of different kinds. Also in the video, the miniatures that we released recently. So I just put all like I did all of the stuff that I can normally list, like all of the actual like stuff that's either complete, new, or matched. And then the stuff that didn't match, I throw it all down there. Well, I don't throw it. I place them, take pictures, and it's going to be a bit and pieces lot. This sold for $13. It's always like my little bits and pieces lots that sell before like the main stuff. I always have that happen, which doesn't bother me. To me, that's like an extra sale on top of everything else that I know will sell eventually. All right, then we have a combo order. Let me grab the stuff. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, 3 different things. They're like board game related. So this is Ravenous River, a board game. I haven't played this one. I always pick up these like interesting ones I haven't seen before. The art looks cool. Yeah, this one's by AEG, which is a good, well-known board game company. This, plus they also picked up a pack of 25 Chip Theory Games health tokens. So these go underneath their chips. They're called Chip Theory Games. Which one? Okay, they go underneath the chips for the heroes, the monsters, and it represents health. So if your character has 4 health, you put 4 chips underneath and you just remove them as they lose health. So this is like an extra pack if you need more. Got a bunch of those at one point, like just the actual Chip Theory Games health tokens. Then they got Ice Cool and Ice Cool 2 promo artifacts. There's only 4 of them in here. It's like a little additional thing you can add into your game. I do know Ice Cool is a kind of like a family children's game. It's a dexterity game where you unfold or unfurl the box and then it becomes the board. And then it's kind of like a classroom of penguins. And like, I kind of loosely know what you do. Yeah, it's a dexterity game and you like flick the penguins and you're trying to flick them through like the doors and collect stuff. And then someone plays like the headmaster trying to put the penguin kids in detention or something. That was my loose understanding of the game. And then this is also part 2, or like these are the artifact promos. So I'm not sure what the promos are. I just know like the base game is a family, like a dexterity game, also like a kid's game. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 48 streetlets are right here. These are New Zealand infantry. So there's 48 of them instead of the 52. So there was an individual figure that was missing from each of these sprues. Someone messaged about them to ask if this was complete, and then by the time I woke up and I was about to answer them, they're like, oh, never mind, there's 4 missing miniatures. Those are the ones that I exactly wanted. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess like you answered your question, then you don't want it, but then they ended up buying it anyways for $20.99. So that normally doesn't happen to us when someone's like, oh, I don't want the item, but then they end up changing their mind. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 57 1994 Marvel Universe base trading cards. This one right here is Banshee. These were in pretty good condition. I got like a couple of binders for like literally a couple of dollars. Got super lucky with that, of all these Marvel cards. So these base ones I just slotted up together. A lot of them sold right as I like the first month of me listing them. These are like the scraps. The base cards I think are the less special ones. End up selling for $14.99. All right. I remember this one. This is a cool one. All right, we have the Ginger Dead Man DVD horror movie. This one is so ridiculous. I don't know which one of my brothers, or maybe 2 of them, watch it with me. This is by Full Moon Features right here. The movies that horror movies that I know them for is the Puppet Master series. Really good series. There was also like the Demonic Toys and the Ginger Dead Man. This one looks like it would kind of be better than it was. I didn't really like it as much. It was just kind of way too over the top. You have some like girl with like whipped cream and stuff over there all over her. She looks ridiculous. You have like the burnt person cookie. This was definitely a trip when I watched it. I don't remember too much of it other than when I've rewatched it a couple times, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I didn't watch that one. It wasn't as good as like Puppet Master or the other Full Moon movies. But someone got this for $8.44. Maybe they will appreciate it more than me. That is not my copy. We happened to get like just like a random grouping of horror DVDs one time. They did pretty well. All right. Next up is going to be Ames Interactive, a first look at trees right here. This is some kind of like little informational PC like game where you like read a bunch of stuff and then you take like a mini quiz at the end. Someone was messaging me about, this CD case has a crack in it. Someone was messaging me asking if I had like the special edition versions of these. And they gave me a bunch of information because I asked for more. I said, no, I listed everything I have, which I did. And they said like the CD is a different color. And it's like, they you would have to order these from catalogs, and they wanted to collect the set of 20. I don't know if this was the person who messaged me who bought this, but someone took an offer on $9 for this one. Like I said, we got a bunch of those, so I learned a little bit through someone messaging me. I didn't like fact check them, but they sounded like they wanted me to be on the lookout for the special edition ones. All right, next up is going to be Monster Apocalypse. These are going to be 5 little Triton faction little mini monsters. So Monster Apocalypse is going to be like a miniature game, a collectible one, or at least this version of the game, where you would have like a bigger monster and a bunch of smaller ones like these that were on your team. And then I think the smaller ones could respawn. And then you're also playing on like a gridded city map, and you can like take your big monster, do a bunch of special abilities, smash them into the other buildings. I think you're trying to take out the other person's like kaiju big monster. I don't remember the Triton faction, so I know there's a lot of series of this game. I dropped out after like 1 or 2 of series of the game. It was just like too expensive when I was a kid to be able to buy a bunch of stuff, but I always thought it was really cool. This went to a repeat buyer for $14. Maybe they got some of my other Monster Apocalypse stuff. All right, this thing right here is going to be the Terminator Loot Crate little skull right here. This one ended up selling for $7.19. Nothing too crazy about like the Loot Crate stuff. This one's like, it feels like a better quality Loot Crate item right there. I know people love the Terminator stuff. I've only watched it like a little bit. It was pretty decent, but yeah. I know we watched it together. I know. It was good. It was good. I feel like I've watched it like in bits and pieces, and there's a lot of them. It is pretty cool. All right, moving along, but like I can't remember a lot of the movies. Like if I rewatched them, it would almost feel like I'm watching them for the first time again. All right, we have this Westing house right here, some kind of like train cart with a light that I don't know if it works or not. I put down damaged for it just because I didn't know if it was or was not damaged. I took good pictures of everything. It still has its hooks over here. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it looks like it's still good there. I guess I just put damage just in case of like this little light doesn't work. This ended up selling for $10.99. We get a lot of interesting messages about trains all the time. It's like I don't know. A lot of the times I'm just like I literally just message like I'm not too sure. All right. Next up is going to be a World of Warcraft Beginner's Guide, Strategy Guide book. So had started having some of these sell. We did a video with all the RPGs and Strategy Guide books that we listed. I got 2 of these. This one ended up selling for $12. It was a much better condition. It just teaches you about like all the basics of World of Warcraft. I was like flipping through it, had a little bit of nostalgia, but so it was cool. That was one of the first Strategy Guide books, like I said, that sold. All right. Next up is going to be how to build speakers and enclosures, some kind of book right here, like a trade paperback. I don't remember where we got this one, but we do get a bunch of books and stuff like this. This ended up selling for $10.49. I do like the interesting ephemera and books and like the odd ones and bits and pieces and stuff like that. All right, moving along, we have some Gloomhaven bits and pieces, kind of. So I have to explain a little bit. So this is the complete set for the Gloomhaven base game. These are called overlay tiles. So you'll have all the traps. You'll have like the things that can denote hallways, doors, stalagmites for caves. You have like a little totem. So this is a complete set. I had to part out a Gloomhaven that we didn't have all the pieces to. This went to a repeat buyer for $15, which is really cool. It kind of took me some effort to do this listing. And I made a note for myself. So this one was for $15 that I should take home this one. The problem is this one, I wrote a note that I was missing one pirate door. There's like different door types. So it's still pretty usable. I think you can kind of easily substitute when you're playing the game. So I thought about like, do I add my own, like we personally have Gloomhaven, do I add the pirate door and then it's complete, but then mine's not complete by one piece, but like in my head, it doesn't really matter, but then it does. So I kind of get into this paradox of like, if it does or doesn't matter. I'm probably just going to list this with the one missing pirate door and not take out mine from my own copy. But it was cool that I left a note for myself so I don't mess up with that. All right. Next up is going to be these Ral Partha. These are like little metal weapons, bits and pieces. You probably can't see it on the camera too much, so I'm sorry. There's like a sword, there's a crossbow, there's some like, there's like a chainmail for like, I don't know if you like a cloak or something like that. There's some like spears, shield. All right. Enough with that. These end up selling for $15. I do like the bits and pieces like that. I know people love this kind of stuff. I have no idea what they're for. All right. And then this is also like an odd item that we've sold or haven't sold. This is the first time. This is like an untested roadside traffic signal. I hope it's legal to ship or send this. I'm not too sure. I literally haven't had something like this. I don't even know where we got this, but this ended up selling for $18.74. I don't know. It looks like some company just like makes ones like this. I didn't even know how to test it. I saw other people have like working ones and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know how to test this thing. All right. Next up is going to be Dungeons and Dragons. Another one of these maps. I forgot when I was talking about the other one that this one sold. TSR 1992 House Bayren Dungeons and Banner. I don't know. Banner Dungeons and Dragons. All right, I'm going to move on. I know there's also like a bigger name for this that starts with the M. I'm not going to butcher it and say it wrong. This map ended up selling for $14. It was a really colorful. Sorry, I'll show you guys more. This is like a really colorful. It has a lot of like cityscape stalagmites right there that are coming up from the top where like people can live in. There's like purples and blues. It just pops. I think the picture doesn't do it justice. All right, and then another thing that happened, which I normally don't do, is I do get occasionally people that want me to break apart a listing. So someone really wanted, so I think I had all of this for like 15. These are a bunch of satin one, is that what they're called? Satin tone like vintage ribbons for packaging or like presents or for crafting. Got a bunch of, we got a bunch of these at one point cheap at a estate sale. So I just made like lots of like color palettes that I thought made sense. They wanted the blue one only. And I messaged, I was like, hey, I'll do the blue one only. It's a lot of work for me to take apart the listing, do new pictures. I'll do it for $6.99 because it was like almost half of the price of just getting the whole thing. And they said, okay. So I did the new listing. They bought it. So I was like, okay, cool. Like it was actually worth my time. So I just brought the whole thing home to remind me to do a better listing with the other colors minus this blue. All right. Like I said, the blue part sold for $6.99. The rest I get to redo another listing. It is a little bit of a pain, but if someone's willing to message me and then like instantly buy it, I'm okay with doing the work then. You know, it didn't like waste our time. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 40 U.S. Desert Shield infantry miniatures. These are 6mm. These are tiny. There's a bunch of them. I got a bunch of these from the auction. I think this is the first or second lot that sold. I had a different phone at the time, and it wasn't taking as good of pictures, so I think that's why these haven't sold as fast. These sold for $20, but these are really, really tiny. I can't even express like these fantasy miniature bits and pieces were way bigger than those. So yeah, it's a bunch of little tiny infantry lines. All right. Speaking of miniature figures, we got these minifigs. It's labeled 5XA. It looks like a bunch of different, like some kind of like wagon or cannon or artillery. I can't tell exactly what. We've sold this particular brand before. This went to a repeat buyer for $14. So it's cool they were keeping an eye out on our miniatures. All right, next up is this play kit. Before we've sold it, organized play kit, Season 0, Parabellum. I don't know anything about this. The only reason why I picked it up was because on the back, you can see what's included. I saw that there's some sleeves, and then I saw there's like a booklet, and the main thing was there's also a miniature in here, and then there's also some like promo coins. Sometimes like board games or these miniature games will have like cardboard coins, and you can go get special metal ones that feel better when you're playing the game. So yeah, we got a bunch of these. I relisted this when I was at the storage unit. This one sold for $55. So yeah, I wish I knew more about it. Like I said, I only picked it up. Organized play kits, I do know, are usually like things you would go and play like a tournament to earn some of these prizes. But I don't know like what game this is. Normally, I'm not too stumped. Like I just didn't spend time looking up. I've just listed it, and we've been selling them like every few months or something. All right, now right here we have this blue velvet, really tiny dice RPG bag right here. I've talked to this one to a repeat buyer. This sold for $8.09. I've talked about dice bags before. I will grab whatever ones I can because there's not really like a big well-known company that make dice bags. So it's usually like people like, yeah, smaller companies will, like a board game company or RPG company might throw in like a bag or two along as something someone can buy with the board game or like that, miniatures and stuff like that, or RPG stuff. But there's no like main player in the dice bag category. So people are always on the lookout for their specific like color, size. They really get into this. This is like a lot of fun for someone who's playing like an RPG game like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder. Like let's say if they're playing like, I don't know, like an underwater character, they want a blue dice bag, right? So they have to go hunting for that because there's not a big company that sells them. This sold for $8.09. It's a really tiny one. It is pretty cool. All right. Next up, another item I talked enough about. I could talk more about dice bags. It's intriguing to me. We have this Pentax Optio 450 camera. I don't know where we got this from. I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping this is not a return. I get really uncomfortable, especially just because we have like a pending electronic return for something like this. It looked good. It looked really good. Like the battery was clean. The compartments were clean. It looked really good. I think your mom gave this to us actually, and she said it was new. I think That's just my random guess. But this sold for $29.99. If it ends up not working, I'm gonna have them do a return, and then I'll just mess with it and figure it out myself. All right, and then the last thing for right now, which is Monday. Like I said, we'll do more stuff for Tuesday, but we want to pack this up and get ahead of the game. We have this Fujimi Moki National Treasure Inuyama. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I forgot the last words right here. It's a really cool like building right here. Miniature kits. So yeah, this is either going to be for like just enjoying it itself, maybe for miniature wargaming, maybe for role playing. But I think this one is just like kind of like just one of those kits you just do to enjoy. I don't, like I said, you could use it for wargaming. But yeah, it has all the pieces. I double counted. Looks really cool. Looks like a fun little project. We've had this one for a bit. This went to another repeat buyer for $27. So it's like 5 or 6 repeat buyers today. All right. Whew, that's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone had a good weekend. Thank you.